Hi, today we are going to learn about AEM Groovy Console. What is AEM Groovy Console? AEM Groovy Console is a package made by ICF Next. It is actually a third-party team who created this AEM Groovy Console, and they built for manipulating content in our server. So typically what we can do, we can install this AEM Groovy console as a package to our AEM server. Then we will get a console kind of a dashboard. Once we get the dashboard, we can write a lot of script to manipulate any kind of content in our server. This package is recommended to install only in local and if required in your non-prod server. It is strongly recommended not to install the AEM Groovy console packages in prod server. The reason is AEM Groovy console gives the access to the complete prod environment server content where someone can write any kind of uh, writing, basically write access scripts to manipulate any kind of content. So it is strongly recommend we should not install AEM Groovy console package in the prod server, which will give access the right access to the AEM Groovy console package. And anybody have access to prod server, they can go and write some script which could make lot of changes to prod server. So it is always recommended you install in your local server, make your changes, make scripting, whatever you need, you make the changes. And once you are confident with your changes, take the package, put it in your non-prod server. And if you are confident, you can migrate the same change to the prod server. And if you want, if it is required in case of any project, any client who usually go through a lot of bulk changes, only for them it is recommended to install in the non-prod server where you have to make sure the same Groovy console package should be there in your local. Once you make the changes in your local, the same Groovy console script can be installed in your non-prod server. Either you can install or you can literally copy paste the script and run in your non-prod server. If you are confident, then take the package from non-prod server to prod server. These are the best practice you should follow uh, for for uh, making sure that there is no unauthorized access provided to our server. So this is the URL. You can always go to ICF Next AEM Groovy Console. Please note this particular URL, whatever it provides the package, latest package, this is meant only for the AEM 6.5 version. It is not meant for the AEM Cloud. And if you can see, it is clearly mentioning this project is moved to a different, that is the CID 15 AEM Groovy Console, which is the newly maintained. However, if I go to the newly maintained yeah, GitHub URL, it is, you can see it is the latest is 2024. This is meant only for the cloud version and the latest version, but 6.5 dot whatever the latest version you might be using, this is not going to support in that. So make sure if you have AEM as a cloud version, then you should use this particular package. You can download the package from the release. Right now, I'm going to show you by installing the package because I do have the AEM server at 6.5.21. Based on that, I have to install this one, 15.1.0. For AEM Cloud, you should go for 18.0.2. I have not tested yet for AEM 6.6. I believe for AEM 6.6, this should be utilizable. 15.1.0. The reason I'm showing on 6.5.21, the latest, most likely, most of the project will be utilizing the 6.5.23, the max latest version of AEM in on-premise. And for cloud version, it is exactly same. The steps will be same, dashboard will be same, everything will be same. The dashboard will look something like this, where we can write some script and the name suggests it is a Groovy console. This means we are going to write the Groovy language console scripting. Groovy language is actually a superscripting language of Java. So we can write literally Java language, or we can write the Groovy language. So once you write the language, you can run the script to do your execution. We'll see some sample. Let me show you. So we'll go, I'm currently showing for 6.5.21, AEM 6.5.21. So for that, you have to go to ICF Next AEM Groovy Console. You can go to the releases. Once you click on the release, the latest release will be available here. You can download the zip. I will click here to download the zip. Once my zip is downloaded, I can go to the AEM start. I can go to the package manager, deployment, package manager. Then I can upload. I should upload. You can upload here, or you can put the package in the install folder of your crx-quick start, and you restart your AEM server. It'll install in the same way. Now I'll browse AEM Groovy Console. I'll install. Okay, it's installed. Now it should be available in our AEM server. Now I can again go back to the README file to follow the documentation. Whenever you get doubt, always go to the documentation. There is a link already provided, console page. Remember, this console page link is meant for localhost 4502. If you are using different port, then based on that you should be changing the port details. So if I click on that, automatically it will take me to the localhost 4502 apps Groovy Console. So this should load my Groovy Console dashboard. So this is the dashboard. Now all of the Groovy Console we are going to write, it will be stored in our AEM server only, local server. If you really want to commit these changes to a different in your repository, then you have to make the changes to your filter.xml so that you can import export for the Groovy Console as well. So let's see the complete dashboard, how it actually works. The first option, the top level, it shows just Groovy Console, and the link also provides, if you hover right, automatically the URL actually pops up at the below screen. If you can see, bottom left, the URL is actually popping up. Then themes, you can actually change the themes if you need. This is the default theme, so I'm okay with this. Run script, right now it is not going to run anything because there is nothing written. Okay, so the black window is actually where we need to write. Okay, here we need to write the script. Now next, new means we are going to always, if you are already written something, if you click new, automatically it will just reset the dashboard black editor window, and it'll let you create a new script. Okay, open, I will click open. So currently it is showing wherever our scripts are actually being stored, it will open that particular location. So let's see where these are actually stored. Let's go to the crxt to see the same. So I'll go to the general crxt. So these will be available apps. Let's see, Groovy Console URL is app Groovy Console. Let's see, under apps, do we have Groovy Console? Yes. So under apps, this is the Groovy Console, and the Groovy scripts are actually stored under var Groovy Console, scripts, samples, all of these are actually stored here. Okay, so this gives the information that any Groovy Console scripts we are going to store, it will be stored here. Or if you really want to store them in a different place, you have to manually copy paste to your apps project level, or you have to do some setup so that it can automatically go and store there. Okay, so the Groovy Console, whatever I'm loading, These are the sample Groovy consoles already provided by the AEM Groovy Console team. So these we can write in some time we are going to load. Let me choose one of them. Uh, JCR full text query. Let's try this. Okay. So this is the uh, to load the script. It'll we can click here. So open is done. Save. You can actually save whatever you have customized query. Any script you have written, you can save it. You don't need to set dot groovy automatically. That is going to be added automatically. It is already mentioned. So you just give the name automatically. It will be stored in the same location in the sample query just before outside of the sample query it will be stored. Okay, now let me test you hyphen 2. Okay, I'm just storing, and let's see where it is actually. Etc groovy console, we can not etc var groovy console, and if I reload, let's see where it is. If you see under sample, all the samples are stored, but when I store any of the new file, it actually stores under script directly. So my recommendation, whenever you actually want to store any kind of Groovy console data, then you can always give your project name as an initial, then hyphen or underscore you can utilize, then you give your script name, so that any project you are maintaining the website multiple project or multiple micro project, so you can differentiate all the Groovy script based on the project naming. Otherwise you have to maintain some kind of a folder structure so that you can have your own script in your own folder, okay, a designated folder. So that also you can utilize. So let's go back to the Groovy console. We'll just go one by one. Scheduler. So if you click on that, it actually gives some details about how to run a scheduler, cron expression, all those details, those are given. Data. So in Groovy console, it is provided that we can actually provided a JSON data here as a input format, and the same data can be used as a data variable here, which can be part of the Groovy script. And whenever you change the data, you just change the data here. So basically, for example, the path is provided here. Instead of this, I can mention like data.path, and the path I have to provide here like this. Let me try this out. Data.path. Okay, and I have to give the path here like this. So this means this path will be picked up from the data section in this way. Okay, so this means the path will be picked up from the data section automatically. Similarly, the way I can provide path, I can provide lot of key value pairs where the value can be picked up based on the key we are going to provide. So right now I'm just making discarding the changes, and we'll just stick to our standard data. Remember, it is not a forceful that you always use data. So whenever you feel the same script need to be rerun with multiple data, you can use the data attribute part. Otherwise, you can always skip it. You don't need to utilize it. Okay, scheduled job, you can actually see the scheduled job, whatever is being run, rerun, all those details can be mentioned here. History, it will just show the history of changes or script that is run. Bindings, it just gives some details about which of the packages that is already available to utilize within the AEM Groovy console screen. So we can actually log, which is automatically come from log4j. So sorry, log4j, I'm telling it is we can log which is coming from slf4j, and whenever we wanted to log, we don't need to create the whole logger uh, object, then we logger dot debug like that. We don't need to do that. Automatically they have populated the object in the log variable, so you just write log dot debug, automatically it will start logging. If you want to use session, you don't need to create the session, all those things. You just use session dot whatever the method you wanted to utilize, you just call it. So you need, these are actually the variable at the left side, whatever you see, these are the variables for all the complete package that is available, not package for the classes that is mentioned at the right side. So for page manager, you can literally write page manager. You don't need to import or you don't need to create the object. All those processes already done at the background. You just utilize all these variable names and you use call the method, automatically they will be available. We'll see few of the example and we can even compare here also. Okay, so for just comparison, I can show few of the details. For example, here it is mentioned something called create query. Let's see if we have create query. Create query is not here, but the query dot hits page, query print dot result dot hits. Okay, it is already done. So let's few more details. Imports. So it is telling additional packages already imported. This means all of these packages are already imported. If you really want to utilize any of the class methods you wanted to use directly, you create, you can try to use the class name, automatically it will come appear. You don't need to do all imported for these particular packages. Methods, it is telling what kind of methods are already available. So if I just write get page and give a path, automatically if it will give the page details. Okay, it will clearly give the page details. We'll see few of the other sample scripts so that we can relate how to utilize these. Enhancement, it'll just see any enhancement that is being done for the AEM Groovy Console packages for each version. They are going to mention here. Builders, yeah, these are some sample scripts you can utilize for builders about, which is mentioning like about the AEM Groovy Console team. Okay, now I'll just directly go. So this is one of the Groovy Console script, which creates a predicate. So this is a predicate. Then we are directly uh, execute the predicate here uh, using the query builder. So this create query is coming from the query builder API. The reason we can directly use create query because it is already imported and we can literally use the method name. We don't need to use all those creation steps, all those things. So you gives the predicates to the create query method. Automatically the query will be available. Then query dot hits page, it is setting as 10, maximum 10. It is going to show result query dot result. Then yes, at this level the result is available and it will start printing. Now let's run this particular script and how it runs appears. If you see result, we can download the result. I mean, whatever it is available, it will be downloaded as a kind of a logging text file. So output also you can download, and these are the results. So it is telling 43 its execution time is 0.15 second, which is printed here. Okay, result dot total matches. This is the 43 hits, whatever is being printed. Execution time is this one. So whatever we are writing in the println, automatically they will be visible here. If you see the second line println is this one, which is under a for each loop, due to which the hit path is actually being printed almost like 10 times because only 10 hits we wanted to print within the page, hits per page. Okay, so these are the hit result it is being provided. And these are coming from VRetail because we have given the query as biking. Wherever CQ page is available with a keyword called biking, it will be pull it up. Okay, for VRetail, it is being run. Let's run few other sample queries that are available. So this is for full text query we have already done. Let's go for the JCR search query. So this is the JCR search query. It is almost same. So in a different way we are doing. First we are trying to do the get page of VRetail, content VRetail. So this will give the page, actually a page object will be coming to the start. Okay, now here what happens, if you see get page is just a method, and if you want to, if you are not sure how to get a page, how to get a node, all those things, all those are mentioned here. You just, sorry, my mistake, you just write get page and give a particular path, automatically it will give you a page. The same thing it is done here. You just write a get page method and pass a particular path of the CRXD also. It'll just give that particular path as a page as long as that is a valid page. Okay. Otherwise, if it is not a valid page, you may see some error in the console's output. Okay. Then query create XPath query. Remember, this is using a XPath query, not the actual predicate or query builder. So create XPath query giving page and bike. Then from the query, it is trying to get the statement. Print query statement. Then result query dot execute result rows. Basically, here we are just println means it will just show what kind of a statement it will be creating. Then result. This is the actual execute method we are calling. Result dot rows means we do have the result available at this level. Now we are going to print the actual result, all the result that we are getting. Once we get the result, we are trying to print each line of the result here, because here it is the for each loop. Here only the single line, how many result size have been found, only that is being printed. Here each line of the result will be printed. Then here we can do some more with the result, whatever we got it. So create XPath, sorry, my mistake. So create XPath query is actually a method that is defined here itself in this script itself. Okay. So create XPath query, and we are providing a page and term, which is this one. Start means the page we have got it here in the line number one. We are providing to this, and this is this is actually a method we are calling here, but the method is defined here. There is one thing you have to note. See, whether it is a variable or whether it is a method, all are taken as a def. Okay. In Java, we take as int, float, string like that, but in Groovy, everything is def. It's almost like a JavaScript of Java. Okay, that way Groovy script has been created. Groovy script is actually much more easier to write and understand. It do not maintain a typed variable, but we can write Java language within this Groovy script. I can literally write string s equal to new string. All of those are actually allowed because Groovy is a superscript. So any Java language you write here, it will be allowed. You can write import statement, everything you can do it here. You can literally copy paste a particular Java class and put it here and it'll still work. Okay. So please note it accordingly. You may have to write. There are some places there could be some ambiguity, so you may have to tweak the coding, but most 90% cases you Java language syntaxes are actually acceptable within the Groovy script. Okay, so here within the method we are writing actually the query how it is being manipulated. So query manager session workspace manager, if you see, it is directly writing the session because session is already an object populated here. It is already mentioned binding. Session is already a object that is already populated. You don't need to do the all the creation of session steps. Directly you just utilize session dot workspace query manager. Automatically it will be able to give you the query manager. You don't need to create the session or get the session like that. Then statement equal to, it is just forming the actual statement for the XPath way. Then query manager dot create query, it is actually using the create query method, but in a XPath way. And at the last, it is just returning the query. So whatever returning the query, it will be coming here. Okay. So this is the way this is written, and I believe this particular script also do the same query. This is the actual query, whatever is printing. Typically, this is the statement, whatever we see, right? The same thing is actually printing. Found 25 result, and these are the paths. Okay. So accordingly, you can utilize XPath query is a very old approach. I won't recommend. Rather than you can reutilize whatever is available within these sample. One of those you just take as a reference, you write on top of it always. So most of the time I use full text query because this has the uh, predicate already written. So I just change the predicate, then I start writing the code on top of it, so that whenever I wanted to do, mostly we will when to use the Groovy console. For example, you wanted to change the SEO content of each page or in our website. So what we can do, we can write a predicate that will just fetch all the pages of our website. Then we go to each page, then you go to the particular JCR content node, then you add an attribute called SEO title or meta tag, anything. The title equal to the value, whatever you wanted to save, you can write the code accordingly. So whenever you want to make a bulk change, it is always recommended to go through the use the Groovy script. However, remember there are some downside of it. It is not all positive, because this particular Groovy console is actually giving the right access to throughout the whole environment files. So it is always you have to be very, very careful while writing the script. Do not write anything that might go and make some changes into the location where you are not intended to, and it can consume a lot of memory CPU cycle when you write queries like full text search for searching throughout the AEM server itself. So in those cases, you should avoid, make sure whatever the code you're writing, it has to be very, 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 very carefully optimized. Optimized in the sense, whenever you write some kind of full text search or something, always give a particular specific path. Without giving a specific path, never write a Groovy script, because whenever you write a Groovy script, it is meant to execute throughout the AEM server. If you write a particular path at the top as a control system, as a control logic, where within the path only the Groovy script is meant to be executed, this gives the control that in case by mistakenly also if you have written the logic, it will make the changes only to the limited area rather than to whole AEM server. Always write the Groovy script in your local system first, then you try in your non-prod server, because if something goes wrong in your local system, then you can actually reset your local system and do the same thing again. Always validate, revalidate multiple times before doing it. At least for the first few times, you should be very, very careful, so that later once you get habituated, you can set up accordingly. So with this, I think this is all about the Groovy console I wanted to show. The Groovy console is being utilized from long time. It has been, I believe it has been 10 years or more than that, the Groovy console is being utilized. However, now Groovy console is not maintained much, because the way AEM actually evolved, AEM projects and the architecture has been evolved. Now most of the logics are being carried out in the front end. So typically we try to do very less stuff in the backend side for the maintenance overhead. And yeah, due to which the AIM Groovy console script program is also not being maintained. If you go here, it actually shows this project is no longer being actively maintained. The reason is probably because of the way the use case. Okay, it is still useful in some of the projects because of their need, the way the projects are actually. So any project that actually goes through bulk edit all the time, all mostly like weekly, daily, monthly, they are heavily relying on the AIM Groovy console. So if you are deployed into that kind of project, you can always utilize these. So with this, I am concluding today's video. Uh, Thank you.